It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're still locked in. It's your Feel Good Breakfast Show here on SABC3, and we are live and continuing our health discussion this morning. And we've got Infectious Disease Specialist Dr. Emile Reid, who's still with us and is ready to answer all of your questions on the coronavirus. And again, a big thank you to everyone who has sent through their questions. And it's time to deliver on these answers. All right, Kukla, you got anything coming through on your side?
I'm not sure if we have some callers on the line right now. Not yet. Doctor, we're still continuing our conversation with regards to... Oh, it sounds like we have Kathy on the line right now. Kathy, hello, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Thank you for taking my call. I just wanted to ask Doctor, my husband is going for surgery maybe in February for the spine op. And I'm just concerned, if he's going to contract the COVID at the hospital.
Cassie, do you mind please repeating your question? Our line is a little bit blurred.
Okay. I just want to, just reiterate that my husband is going for surgery.
Okay.
So I think Cassie's husband is going for
In
surgery.
February. Yes, he's going for surgery in February. So I'm just concerned if he's going to contract COVID at the
Hospital.
Hospital.
Okay.
Okay. The good question. I mean, people are scared of going to hospitals for other reasons because of COVID, because people are scared of being infected while they are at the hospital. And the fact of the matter is as follows. If somebody is scheduled for surgery, usually about 2 to 3 days before the time, a nasopharyngeal swab is performed. And if that person is negative, they get transferred to what we refer to as the green part of the hospital. And in the green part of a hospital, there are patients that all tested negative for SARS-CoV-2, whereas the red part of the hospital are where all people are that are COVID positive. People under investigation goes to the so-called yellow part of the hospital. And for Cassie's sake, with her husband testing negative before surgery and going to a green part of the hospital, the chances of him acquiring COVID during his hospital stay is minimal to 0. And the important thing is not just will he not contract it from other patients in the vicinity, because we do physical distance the patients in the wards. Also with the nursing staff and the doctors, everybody wears complete PPE, which means even if the nurses, physios or doctors are infected or carry the virus, they will not spread it to the patients.
Okay, lovely. Well, I hope that answers that question. We've got another one coming in for you, Doc, and this is Mr. Govender. I believe he's coming in from KZN.
Yes.
And he's got a question. Mr. Govender, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Hazza, what's your question for the doc this morning?
Okay, the question is, it's following up from last week when the female doctor was there. Regarding, I know we have the incubation period for 10 days, and then the doctor mentioned that after your 10 days, you go back to normal, but then you have symptoms in your system for the next 90 days. So I want to know, every time you have those symptoms, is it contagious to the next person?
Okay.
And it's a good question, Doc. I must just add on to what Mr. Govender says, is because a lot of the guys that I've spoken to as well complain months after about fatigue, I don't feel right, slight depression, way beyond those 9 to 14-day periods that we are in isolation. So great question.
A fantastic question. And also when I had COVID, I mean, I still continued to have symptoms for another 8 to 10 weeks afterwards.
Wow.
And that is called the so-called long COVID. Long COVID. The important thing to remember is that you will have symptoms, or the majority of people will continue to have symptoms afterwards, very mild symptoms, slight shortness of breath, muscle aches, etc. And the important thing that Mr. Govender also asked is whether you are still contagious or not. And the answer is no, you are not contagious at all. So continue with your rehabilitation program, continue with your nutritional supplementation program throughout this period. But the answer to the question, no, you're not contagious, but prepare yourself for the long haul of the post-COVID syndrome.
But also just continue taking care of yourself and masking up, please.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's such a brilliant question. And I think a lot of people are worried about whether or not I can reinfect somebody.
Exactly.
And the question that I think is still up for debate, we've heard a lot of research, is how long and when can I get it again? Some people are of the opinion that, okay, cool, I've had it, so now I'm pretty good.
You're immune
I'm
to it.
immune and I can go about my day. But where, and a lot of research has proven that this is the case, but where exactly do we start to find ourselves being very vulnerable and being making sure that it's a necessity, if anything, to ensure that we are not doing anything to further cause a spread on this?
Yes, I think that's a very important question. We had some cases where reinfection were proved, and those are very few and far-fetched cases, anecdotal cases.
Okay.
The important thing for us, if you had COVID, is to make sure that you have good antibodies. And remember that those antibodies are specifically for the virus that you encountered. So obviously with the new variants that have been developing, we are not sure whether those antibodies that you have acquired with your bout of COVID is actually neutralizing towards the variants as well. And what we see in some of the research that were published in the last week or so is that you might require more antibodies in order to fight the new variants and the new strains, or not strains, variants and mutations of COVID, which means that you might be reinfected with a different variant of the same virus. Okay. And that is also quite worrisome with regards to the development of vaccines. And a lot of companies are now talking about adding another booster dose of the vaccine in order to complement the already existing vaccine that people have received in order to accommodate those variants. So only time will tell to what the effects of the new variants are for us to be reinfected with SARS-CoV-2 again.
Got you.
It's all so complicated, but you know what? We have another caller in line with a question, Doctor. This one comes from Cicely from KZN. Good morning to you. What's your question for the good doctor? From Gauteng. Cicely, are you there? Cicely from Gauteng. Hi, how are you?
Hi, fine, and you?
Very well, thank you. What's your question for the doctor?
My concern is, with all the load shedding, how secure is the vaccine? Hello?
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Cicely is asking how sure we are that the vaccine is safe and how secure is the vaccine. Well, to answer the first question, you know, vaccines, in order to be accredited by the FDA or the CDC, etc., has to go through various robust testing and trials. And yes, this has been probably the quickest vaccine that's ever been developed. But because it was a worldwide pandemic, everybody was involved with the development. There was sharing of information, sharing of genetic material and sequencing, hence the development of a vaccine within a year. And those vaccines that are available are safe, and those vaccines that are available are effective, more than 94% effective. So all vaccines do have minor side effects, and those are usually local, where they inject the vaccine. And some people might even, within the first few weeks, develop mild systemic effect. And obviously, if you're allergic to any component of the vaccine, you can develop an allergic reaction. But if we look at the pros versus the cons of these vaccines that are available, I mean, there's no doubt that we should take it. And remember what I said right in the beginning, our only way out of this pandemic is through vaccines. The only other option is to actually go through a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth wave in order for herd immunity to develop. But unfortunately, it has never been done that we allowed herd immunity to develop through spreading an infection, because it will be absolute carnage and we will still sacrifice millions of lives if we allowed herd immunity to develop through that process.
And never mind the infrastructure that we have that would just absolutely not survive. But Doc, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you and to answer all these questions that I think Mzansi's just been dying to know. So thank you for feeding us with the knowledge.
Pleasure.
And I'm looking forward to our next chat. But for the rest of everybody else out there, I just wish you safety and the rest of your health and the ability to treat as many patients as you can along the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Kukle.
Of course, guys, don't go anywhere. We've still got some more magic on this beautiful Tuesday out here on the Expresso show. So stick around for some more.